likeliest scenario, I would say, is that he just didn't realize and he wasn't doing anything sketchy. Because that would be really funny to do literally a last-second race switch.
Dude, that used to be my strategy in Brood War lobbies, like back in the day in the 90s. Like late 90s, early 2000s. I would definitely be the player that'd be like, yeah, playing as Terran right now, and then race switch to Protoss at the last second and cannon rush. Oh, dude, that was the dream.
There's a lot of things you could do. Switch to Zerg and 4-pool. So many things you could possibly do there.
We didn't introduce the players. Why are you zooming in, man? Why are you zooming? What do you do? No, you can't do that without us. We control you, okay?
Oh,
Starting
my
up
God.
here on the top right-hand side of the map, we have the red Mapu. Are you going to disrespect the players? Like, thank you. On the top right-hand side, we have the red Terran player. He is special. Who's representing Team Hyper 1.
And his opponent spawning down in the bottom left for Team Gosu. It is Maplez, affectionately known as Mape the Ape.
Oh, sorry.
He left. Yeah, he left.
Hyper 1.
Yeah, he left random Hyper 1.
Okay. Wikipedia, update it, please.
Oh, how could you? Now they might actually. They do have some ardent watchers. They work tirelessly there at Wikipedia.
No, I absolutely deeply appreciate those Wikipedia editors. They even actually, for those who don't know, they even do monthly rankings of like the most contributions and stuff to Wikipedia each month.
It's pretty cool. Cynical Death is almost always...
Cynical Death is #1.
Yeah, almost always topping the charts. I don't know if I've ever seen him not.
Yeah. Nice little pick off on the probe over there, as it did get trapped in by the supply depot wall. So SpeCial getting a nice snag there, but the probe also seeing, timing of the factory and the double gas opening over here. And Maple's going to know, I mean, not super atypical or anything, that this is going to be just one of those builds where SpeCial can get a little bit more in his face a bit earlier on.
Yeah, that will certainly be something he has to worry about. And SpeCial is one of the players that I believe lamented the old Cyclone. He actually really liked doing pushes kind of orchestrated around the old Cyclone. By the way, that's a lot of damage, actually. Oh, man, SpeCial's going to lose the Reaper. All right. That ain't so bad for Maples to start off.
That was very, very cute, especially when your opponent's trying to go for like this double Reaper plus Cyclone opening and stuff. You're looking to maybe get a couple extra little kills here or there. But now one of the Adepts doesn't even end up shading forward, so it is going to be able to try to deal with the Reaper. It does still find a probe here and gets a full scat out, so this Reaper still very much so paying for itself. Might even get a second probe.
Oh, that Adept came in like Superman, just flying in to save the day. That was cool as hell.
Yeah, I mean, I still think that at the end of the day, even though that started off really nicely for Maples, I still kind of like how it all turns out in the end for SpeCial, where he gets both of the Adepts, or sorry, he gets the full scout. He loses 2 of the Reapers, sure, but he also kills off one of the Adepts with a Cyclone. He can put some pressure on and stuff. It's actually, I don't hate this for SpeCial.
No, I agree. I actually like it a decent amount as well. It is going to be a quick Banshee opener here from SpeCial. I had Roddy's stream open for just a little bit. He's doing the co-streaming, and he was saying, I don't think Maples is going to see the Banshees of SpeCial coming. And sure enough, SpeCial is opening up with a quick Banshee here. Now, I don't think we're going to see Cloak for this. There's already enough gas to go for it if he wanted to. So this might end up just being a potential, like, kind of push forward with a bunch of Marine tank and cloakless Banshees and just trying to set up a really strong position. We actually see, never mind, this is going to be a single Banshee into Raven for realsies. A little bit of a, oh no, it's just a tiny frictional supply block. The depot is finishing up right there. But actually, Maples has maybe a real supply block. It looks like a real supply block. Smells like a real supply block. Ooh, and this smells like a dead stalker.
And Blink finishing 3 to 4 seconds later. Ugh. Oh, that's so unfortunate.
Very painful. Are there any shield batteries in the main mineral line? Because one single Banshee can get a lot done if you have no units in position and no shield battery, and both of those boxes are checked.
Oh, he just warped in offensively too.
Oh, this looks so scary.
That really might hurt. Well, SCV taken out that was building the bunker and not actually starting that just quite yet. There's a reaction as Pro's getting pulled away, but still going to be, I think, another 4 or 5 seconds before Stalkers can even be warped in defensively. We're seeing a load up into the Warp Prism with some of those Stalkers as Maplez, I think, just trying to get some counter damage done, but so much lost mining time in the main base right now.
And 5 probes is significant damage already for just one Cloakless Banshee. Like, this is absolutely paid for itself for SpeCial here. The Stalkers in the main base will try and find something. Siege Tank in a good position. Oh, Interference Matrix used on the Warp Prism. Blink was just used as well. That is such a good find for SpeCial. That might be all 4 Stalkers going down here. Good job from Maplez to get the Warp Prism back in and save one of those.
He killed the Raven, actually.
He got the Raven.
Yeah.
That's something.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, no! Losing the Warp Prism. That's so unfortunate. I was going to say, this is a really bad spot, and I thought, oh, there's like one small thing. You know, you've been knocked down 5 pegs, but at least you climb back up 1 by killing off the Raven. But then losing the Warp Prism, you get knocked back down 2 or 3 more.
I was going to say, that's another 3 pegs off the top there. That one hurts. And I think he even lost some of the Stalkers in the natural that were kind of poking around there. SpeCial getting in towards that Stim, Combat Shields, +1 weapons. And I mean, this push is just going to be so scary. Maplez obviously is on a decent economy right now in terms of the worker count. But when you lose this many units after investing into them relatively early on, I mean, it's just really hard to make up this kind of army size differential at this point. And I feel like this push coming out of SpeCial, it's just going to be so strong.
Yeah, I mean, I would even venture so far as to say like 56 workers is a little bit light for what you want if you're going to be on this 3-base economy, just trying to flat out units, and you don't really have power units, you don't have a Warp Prism or anything. It's really just going to be pure unupgraded, well, I guess, you know, soon to be upgraded with +1 weapons. This is gateway units. Now, the next Warp Prism over here, if this can move out at the same time that SpeCial's doing his move out, I really like the potential for him to do some big damage. You maybe have like force additional units to pull back home for SpeCial, or if SpeCial just commits, then you still manage to just like recall back some of those units and mount a defense somehow. There's still a potential here for Maplez, but the chances are going, you know, lower and lower in percentages.
Now, I will say spotting this double drop is actually huge. That is really nice for Maplez. SpeCial. Oh, scanning the 3rd base. Blink is available. And we are going to see actually a missed target on the medevac, which means a few more units do unload. SpeCial still manages to force his way into the main base. Maplez, a little bit of missed execution. And look at those Warp-in Zealots getting absolutely murdered.
That is not the Warp-in location you wanted, and Shield Battery Overcharge is only doing so much. These Bioforces are starting to run a little bit dry in hit points as the stims and everything have been adding on up, but that was 8 workers worth of damage, plus a ton of actually well traded out gateway units that just died for not really that much more than just a handful of bio units. Like, SpeCial is going to be very happy with those trades, and he's continuing the aggression. Still, he has another one of these double medevac drops. He's not even going for the big push out. He doesn't need to. He has confidence in his macro, and he still is just continuing to find damage with little bits of pressure.
Yeah, and Maplez is adding on Immortals, but that is not... That's like nice supply, but it's not amazing supply. It's not like Colossus or Disruptors or, I mean, any advanced tech that's meaningful splash damage. He doesn't even have non-meaningful splash damage. He's just on Stalker, Immortal, Zealot. And when you're already kind of behind, it is really difficult to take effective fights against Marine Widowmine, even with the newly kind of nerfed Widowmines. Cyclone will get taken out, and the Warp Prism will survive, but that is not going to be so great here for Maplez in terms of losing those Zealots. Does clean up the drop in the main base, and Maplez is actually kind of staying toe-to-toe.
Yeah, a little bit, in the sense that he's not falling further behind right now, so I'm definitely with you on that, and I think that is nice. The Dark Shrine did get spotted out, so missile turrets are already starting on up, but looks like Maplez is just going to opt to go for Archons instead of actually using any of the DTs, expecting that was not only, you know, spotted, but I think SpeCial, with his drop, tried to right-click down the Dark Shrine. So it's like, if you weren't sure if this was spotted, if like they saw it, but they didn't really see it, that's a good indicator that they're just right-clicking it down.
Yeah, usually that means they knew it was there. DTs are going to come in nonetheless. Oh, missile turret. Oh, no. It got to safety, and then it didn't. Couple SCVs going down to the DTs, but nowhere near enough.
Yeah, frankly, I think maybe one or two of those SCVs were just falling to the siege tank friendly fire.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. More SCVs are going down, it does seem like, thanks to the Zealot run by, but yeah, that she just sees the army as front door and says, nah, SpeCial is going to take game number 1, looking quite strong doing so.
Yeah, he took good trades pretty much at every opportunity, like you said. Even with some of those drops getting cleaned up momentarily, it still just looked so comfy for SpeCial. He never really looked in danger in that game, and he's going to be happy with a 1-0 victory, or 1-0 lead so far.
I think it's worth mentioning that, again, a lot of that was SpeCial maintaining a lead that he held from just the Banshees catching Maplez at the absolute worst time. It was Maplez not only trying to deal with the Banshee harassment and stuff, and he ended up losing like 8 workers to it, but it was because the Banshee popped in right as Maplez had done an offensive warp in with all 3 of his warp gates. He didn't have anything to buy time. He didn't have a shield battery or anything else that would have helped out. And so it was kind of a calculated risk of like, you're just saying, well, my stalkers are getting ready to be aggressive. You're not expecting a Banshee at that time. So it is a little bit unfortunate with the timing and how far behind he fell. But then it was after that that really secured everything, is that Maplez kind of fell apart with his aggression. He lost his warp prism. He lost a ton of his stalkers there. The interference matrix catching the prism so that more of the stalkers couldn't escape, and losing more stalkers than the natural. Like, everything kind of snowballed from there, it felt like. But it all began with just a really unfortunate Banshee timing pop into his main.
Yeah. Yeah, it was extra unfortunate. Now, Maplez did a decent job of holding in the mid game. Off of such a significant disadvantage, but it ultimately wasn't enough on its own. And because you're not advancing the tech, because you're not building more probes, taking a 4th base, you're kind of in this weird situation where you're on the defense, but you're still all in. And basically your only way back into the game is A, take such a devastatingly one-sided fight that you can go across the map and win the game, or B, take a very good defensive fight that then opens up the door for you to, you know, start teching up, to start building a new base, to do all the things that will let you compete in the next stage of that game.
Yep. Well, with all that being said, we're moving into game number 2, as we're going to be starting down here in the bottom left-hand side of Post Youth, top of the blue Protoss player. He is Maplez.
And spawning up in the top right, he is the Red Terran player from Mexico. It is Juanito, the Dorito SpeCial. Spam this Dorito to help out Juanito.
Mapu zooming in on Dorito instead of on SpeCial.
People are going to be confused now. They're going to think his name is Dorito.
His name very well could have been Dorito at some point, because, you know, SpeCial's gone through so many names.
He has gone through a gamut of names. That is incredibly true. SpeCial, by the way, seeming to... Against Maplez, I actually really like the double gas opener just for the safety it provides. Like, I don't think 1-Rax expand is particularly risky these days, but it does make defending a little bit more difficult if your opponent does something crazy like proxying 2 gates in a forge, or even just proxying a 2nd gate on the map and, you know, chronoing out units. I'm fond of SpeCial's build order choice. He knows he's the favorite.
Yeah, I mean, I think he definitely knows that as well, and is playing around that like you're kind of talking about. Factory is going to be plopping on up. There's the full wall in, just to say, well, you can't really see exactly what's going on, so what if I did proxy the factory and I'm doing some kind of Hellion drop? I'm bringing them back, or all kinds of... Actually, I mean, we're not seeing that right now.
It's a good map for it.
I was literally just looking at the map, and I'm like, well, you could just run between the natural and the main. There's no, like, force... You can't, like, force field or body block the ramp or anything. You just move between the 2 mineral lines. Like, that... I actually don't hate the idea of a proxy like Hellion Drop or something.
Yeah, and you can build the proxy in such a perfect location that's so far away from the main ramp, but is so close to the natural mineral line. Like, you just put it in that bottom side where the base is.
My God. You're so right. I'm vetoing this map as soon as we get out of this game.
It's actually really, I hadn't thought of it either, but it's really surprising we haven't seen it yet. Yeah, right there. Just bottom side. You theoretically even could put it at the, like, debris field that kind of sections off that other base. We do have the Twilight Council being scouted, by the way, by SpeCial. Obviously, he's going to be happy to get that information. It is a deviation of the build, though. Did not open up double Reaper in this game. It will, in fact, be the single Reaper. Ooh, Maplez. Oh, I hope he does not shade forward.
Oh, no.
Okay. I'm sure he saw the little crumple on the ground. Even with the Adept Shade's limited vision, that's still enough to see that.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. The Reaper is not going to be able to make its way further forward. The Adept tried to intercept the Reaper. It may still end up accidentally intercepting it. No, the Reaper hops up to the high ground at the perfect moment. Is able to evade that Adept for now. But we do have a Robo coming up behind this. Blink upgrade also being researched here for Maple. So a pretty stock standard looking setup, as he is going to be getting into just 3 gateways for now.
That is a really funny little Widowmine right there. This is... Wait, what? Oh, okay. I saw him turn around and it like broke my brain for a second, even though I knew what it was as it was happening. Well, actually, hang on. He's... Okay. I thought he was going to go in a little bit later with the Widowmine at the front, but it is going to be a 6 Marine mine drop, I assume, in the back. And he's going to maybe try and run into the main mineral line with that Widowmine and just tax his opponent's multitasking. Oh, well. He saves the mine. That's not bad.
Yeah, Widowmine will be able to get out of there alive for now. He does find a nice little opportunity to drop in over here, like you were saying, over at this natural. It's worth mentioning 4-gate Blink. There's going to be a fair number of Stalkers popping on out soon, but Blink is not finished up just quite yet, and he's trying to find the medevac. Ends up losing a Stalker in the process, is now losing a handful of these pros. Pros being pulled off the line to help fight, and he does eventually clean things up. Widowmine also gets cleaned up over there as well. Liberator are going to be following up this aggression. But there is going to be a very dangerous time here for SpeCial, where he's going to have been using all of these units to try and put on this pressure, try and take out economic damage on his opponent. But 4-gate Blink Stalker aggression is not something to, take lightly. It is actually something that can very well end games.
Yeah, it's really strong, and there's only 1 siege tank out at the moment. There will be another one in a moment behind that. Can he blink Stalkers to the right side and find an opening? Okay, well, SpeCial's not going to check it regardless. Just going to retreat out with that Liberator. I will say that this is simultaneously a very big main base. A lot of surface area to cover. But also, because the bases are so close to one another, you can tuck those tanks in pretty far back.
Yeah. And exactly to your point, you're already seeing 1 siege tank that was maybe covering a little bit past, or just like a little bit past the entrance of the main ramp. And it's also covering a bit of the left-hand side. So you're already seeing that SpeCial is able to try to situate himself a little bit better for the angle that those Stalkers try to blink in from there. Looks like Maples is going to try and rotate around, and SpeCial, is he going to catch wind of this? Is he going to try to reposition? He already has 1 siege tank ready positioned.
Oh. That is a big blink into the main base, eating a lot of damage on those Stalkers. Maple's going to try and do his best Max Packs impression and War Prism Micro with the Stalkers, but struggling a little bit here to get those important saves. Will be forced out, and I would say even with the loss of that siege tank, that was still very good for SpeCial. 6 Stalkers and an Adept going down for 4 Marines and a siege tank.
Oh, that is brutal, and we're down to 39 workers, 2 workers being made at a time there for Maples, and he does have a 3rd base about halfway finished up, even teching up to the Temple Archives, but he invested so much into going for that 4-gate Blink Stalker aggression, and I don't just mean in terms of actually going for the attack. I mean, the actual Stalker losses are going to be brutal, because now he's down to just 9 Stalkers. He's going to have a harder time actually dealing with any kind of counter aggression, so he's eventually going to have to start respecting that or play very greedy. It's a tough spot for Maples, and I think he has to make some very difficult gambles at this point to try and pull himself back in this game.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure. I feel like the gamble he's kind of going for is going to be Storm. Like, I feel like you're probably going to try and just hope for some really huge storms to get you back into that game. But SpeCial is just going to have such a significant advantage that I feel like the bio numbers, as long as he doesn't basically have everything completely clumped up underneath those storms, I feel like he can almost just kind of weather them a little bit with this big stim combat shields +1 weapons attack coming on. And if SpeCial gets here actually quick enough across the map, he'll hit just before storm. Actually, hold that thought. We got to drop into the the natural.
And this is where having so many of those stalkers go down really hurts, because he didn't even have enough stalkers to afford having anything back at home. There it is.
Yeah.
GG gets called before the attack even makes its way across the map. SpeCial claims victory in game number 2, takes the series 2-0, and is going to be in a much more comfortable spot in his group now.
Yeah, that one was a rough one for Maplez there.